Well, for more on Robin Williams' personal life, we're joined by entertainment reporter Jeanne Wolf. She's interviewed Williams many times over her career, most recently just 2 months ago. So, Jeanne, Robin is someone you have interviewed countless times, most recently on the set of his show, The Crazy Ones. How did he seem to you then?
On the set of The Crazy Ones, the day I saw him, he seemed very content. He seemed happy to be working with young actors, happy to be part of an ensemble show full of jokes, full of good spirit, full of observations, and he seemed like he often seemed, a very happy and contented guy. Of course, behind that were years of substance abuse, and admittedly, this was not someone who hid his demons. He talked to me about being lonely. He talked to me about down moods. He talked to me about depression up to a point. And yesterday there were phone calls all over the city, people calling each other very quickly, yes, to confirm the news, but really that secret, please tell me it's not true. People wishing to get on the phone and find someone who says, nah, ignore this, it's not true. But it was, sadly, very true. And we'll find out more facts today.
You know, Jeanne, in some of your other interviews, and you mentioned this, addiction, depression, he spoke to you about his depression. What did he tell you about that?
Well, he said you go along and you think you're fine and you think you're funny and you think you're sober and everything's okay. And all of a sudden he almost spoke about it like a ghost. Depression comes along and says, you're not so fine. Things aren't so good. And the world narrows down and suddenly a drink or some drugs or some hopelessness takes over.
That level of fame that Robin Williams achieved, that can be a mixed blessing. Do you think he enjoyed the fame that came with his success?
I think, like most things, Robin had more than one side. I think he loved the fame. He loved people. He would talk to strangers on the street, and it wasn't just that he would say hello. He'd do a little comedy riff. He liked to make us all laugh. I would go do a serious interview with him, and he wouldn't let me out of the room till I was doubled over in laughter. Yes, I think he enjoyed his fame, and I think he enjoyed the opportunities that it gave him. But I also think it was, look, you've got to remember, Mork and Mindy was on. 60 million people would watch that show. It wasn't like television now. The whole world knew who Robin Williams was, and it was daunting to him and at the same time thrilling to him.
You know, Jeanne, you mentioned Mork and Mindy. That was his first big role, and we played the clips there off the top of some of his many roles. Which one of Robin Williams' roles was your favorite, and why did it speak to you?
I don't like to pick a favorite, but I think I was very, very moved by the Dead Poets Society. It was a message to young people. He was great working with young people. And we sat down and he talked about the fact. I asked him, you remember in Dead Poets Society, he told those kids, stand on tables, shout it out. And I said, Robin, who taught you it's okay to stand on tables? And he said, it was my dad. I flunked out of college. That was before he went to Juilliard. And he said my dad was very unhappy that I wasted the tuition money, but he began to understand how much I wanted to act and how much show business and acting and comedy meant to me. And my father encouraged me very much. And he said he had a lot of teachers that were examples for the teacher he played in Dead Poets Society. He was a very loving, appreciative kind of guy, over the top, the wildest comedian and yet never mean. You can't find, you can find outrageous, you can find, naughty right up to the edge, but you can't find mean. And Robin Williams, it wasn't in him. What a sad thing. He was so loved. I wonder if you notice the tributes to him are so personal. It's not like they're celebrating a great star as much as someone they knew. It almost, heartbroken are words they're using, almost sounds like a family member, and the grief has taken over, and people they don't want to face the reality, number one, that he was so sad, and number two, that he's gone.
Well, on that, the tributes have been pouring in since the news broke last night. I mean, actors, audience members, Twitter and social media just overwhelmed with people with outpouring their affection for Robin Williams. What was it about him that allowed him to win the hearts of so many people so easily as he apparently did?
Well, he tried very hard at it. He said to me, Jeanne, people want to know what motivates me. He said, what motivates me is to connect. And that's what he tried to do. He spent his energy. He reached out to other people. I don't know if you remember, he had a serious heart operation. And after that, he said, you know, you never look, once you've had, a heart valve replaced, you never look at the world the same again. And he said, Jeannie, I want to learn not just to smell the roses. I want to smell every flower. And it's not just that he smelled every flower for himself and explored every avenue of his art. He did it for us.
Jeannie, you've interviewed him many times. How are you going to remember Robin Williams?
You know, I think that the people who've seen him on television and seen him on movies will never forget him. But anyone who met him in person felt embraced, felt like, I don't mean physically hugged, felt just like he put his spirit around you when you met him. I will remember him as gentle. I will remember him with a smile. I will remember that wild little twinkle in his eye because he knew he was going to get you with a joke. You weren't going to resist Robin Williams, and I didn't want to resist him.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. That's Jeannie Wolf speaking to us from Los Angeles.